Salutations, utopians. Hope all is well in your world. Keep the mental strong, all right? Before anything, that's all we got in this lifetime at the end of the day. So we got breaking news here. Tanisha Wright, formerly the head coach of the Atlanta Dream, has been relieved of her responsibilities. And, there's been, I think that makes now I think it's like 3 or 4 coaches now in the W who've been terminated. Uh, Here's the thing, you know what I mean? I'm noticing a trend, and it's not just in the W, it's in the NBA also, uh, starting with Darvin Ham. But we got this situation, First, last week we got the bombshell news, and yesterday I was watching the New York Liberty versus the Las Vegas Aces in the semifinals, and Teaspoon was there, and the standing ovation that Coach Spoon got was just amazing. That's exactly what I expected. Won back-to-back depoys the first 2 seasons that the WNBA existed. That's right, original, like first batch of players to play in the W. Fun fact: in '99, the Houston Comets versus the LA Sparks is still the highest-rated WNBA playoff game to date. Cracked just, I think it was like give or take around north or south of 2 million. So that era was very special, and as you all know, Spoon getting fired has sent shockwaves through the entire basketball community. For those who are really, black top fans, really understand hooponomics. Um, it's crazy, that you could one and done. Like clowns get 1 seasons to coach at a franchise. Somebody who does some clown behavior, some unjust behavior, to take a legend like that who's been there since the first game the league ever existed, from its inception, and to one and done them and dismiss them. It had to be the work of somebody who obviously has not done or contributed to the game of basketball, to the sport of basketball, at a fraction of the cost. It's got to be some kind of analytics junkie, some corporate slave, someone who's just like all numbers, doesn't leave the house type shit. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't happen from somebody who understands and respects the sanctuary of hoops and the tradition. And this is what causes companies to go insolvent, when they don't respect and value what came before them. It is the universal spirit. It's what you treat, it's what you put out in this life is what you get. And so I could never be okay with injustice. I'm never going to be cool with something like that. You know what I mean? That was just absolutely ridiculous. What leadership, quote unquote, has done. There's a big history of this in Chicago. Come to find out, from Sylvia Fowles, who's in all-time rankings list on the W history top 5 in like major categories. Ella Delle Donne, who, fun fact, in 2015 won MVP even though her team was not a top 2 seed. I want to see more of that in pro sports. I want to see players win MVPs, because that's really, to me, the mark of an MVP. You being on a loaded squad, and I've said this in several videos. I know I'm not that big on, but on a national scale, but teams that are not in the top standings are actually the more impressive team. Actually has more of a, from a metric standpoint, a player who fits the description of what the titles entails: most valuable player. If you go down and your team can win a playoff game, are you really an MVP? So to me, like that, Ella Delle Donne, I think the Sky were in 4th place, played with a broken nose, labrum, just a whole bunch of different stuff that was crazy. K-Pop, who this year played in Kalia Popper, who's now on the Phoenix Mercury, played on the a U.S. Olympic team, left them last year. Courtney Williams, point guard of the Minnesota Lynx, first place, title contender. I'm surprised right now. The Lynx actually evened out the series. I thought the front line depth and the girth of the front line of the Connecticut Sun was going to be overwhelming. They play Minnesota plays a very precise, quick, fast game, power over speed over power and size. And so I figured that maybe they were going to have trouble. Outside of Dewana Bonner and Alyssa Thomas, their second unit is also very problematic. I can't remember off the top of my head. I didn't expect to go this far into that, but the point I'm making is Courtney Williams is the lead guard on a team that's very probable to win a championship. Um, and in doing that with the best player in the league, Nafisa Collier, at the helm. I know some people don't want to hear that, but in terms of complete player, assist, defense, steals, like she missed 4 games and still had comparable stats to the MVP, to the unanimous MVP, Miss Wilson over there with the Aces. And just there's a laundry list. Vandersloot, who's the all-time leading playoff assist leader in the WNBA, who's now on the Liberty right now. Speaking of the Liberty, and then the Candace Parker, whose resume is up there with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Magic Johnson in terms of just basketball royalty. Has always been a winner on every level. Went back home, Cinderella story, to the Chicago Sky, won a championship. We don't see her on the sideline. You would think that that would be something you want when you have a pioneer like Angel Reese on the sideline. Nowhere to be found, wants nothing to do with them. Gabby Williams was recruited when she was a free agent, fresh off the Olympic bid. Remember, she was with France. They lost by a measure of an inch off the three-point line. Gabby Williams was recruited by Angel Reese. He said maybe down the line when we play on a different team we can, if we are on a different squad, which I do see. That I can see that for Angel Reese. I don't see Angel Reese spending her whole career in Chicago. Camila Cordosa has a better chance than Angel Reese. Chicago also fired their social media team within the same window that they fired Coach Teaspoon. So it's just a big mess. But it's going to a bigger point. I'm going to get to that. Darvin Ham, when he had to coach around LeBron's legacy, and people on media day are like, oh, it's new vibes. You see D'Angelo Russell taking shots. Everyone's saying the report, oh, it's such a better vibe. Well, remember one thing. Nobody wanted to coach that team when Darvin took the job. So be grateful, because everyone knew that was a doomsday job to begin with, okay? And it wasn't pretty. You can try to, everyone put their hands up, we didn't have none. Guess what? At the end of the day, nobody wanted that job, okay? And I'm leading to a bigger point. Now let's get to Tanisha Wright here with the Atlanta Dream. They did not make the playoffs. To start the season, the Dream did sell out all home tickets. Them in Dallas were immediate home sellouts, those markets. So they had unwavering support. What I didn't like about them from the beginning was they had Kyan Parker Tyus and Tanisha Charles. Tanisha Charles is Tina Charles. Tanisha is the head coach. Tina Charles is the all-time leader in points. No. Second in points, all-time leader in rebounds. So the two major categories, all-time legacy lineage, she's all-time leader in. And they had to build their offense around that. Well, that offense was very old school, half court, pound the ball in the post, methodical offense. They have a big time threat in Haley Jones from Stanford, who I seen like can guard 1 through 5, selfless, great team leader, has that type of temperament that you require from a champion. Very much a team player. Does need to get a little more selfish. Does have a very unpolished jumper similar to Alyssa Thomas, but her comp is Alyssa Thomas. Actually, there's no reason why Haley Jones is not more like Alyssa Thomas in the league. And they chose to obviously cater to Charles, because obviously she's another OG pioneer, double-digit years in the league. And this is royalty. And the W, make no mistake, is going through this pivot process right now, where you got legacy lineage players chasing awards, breaking records. Mind you, the W at one time has increased their game count by 6 games, I believe it is. So that's why you're seeing a lot of records being broken. And but the team was built around Charles. But every once in a while, you would see certain glimpses. Haley Jones, Alicia Gray won the skills contest and the three-point contest during All-Star Weekend. Kyan Parker disappeared eventually, but and Ryan Howard is another legacy player who you like. I want to protect this. That's probably the player they're going to start next year to build around Gray and Howard. And I think Haley Jones needs more of an impactful role. I think maybe putting her somewhere at power forward or center is what needs to be done. But they did. This is a coach at the end of the day, Tanisha Wright, who has also played in the league, who was at the mercy of another legacy player who had certain statistics and stats that needed to be accomplished and that were undeniable. So it's not necessarily like you can just turn the other way. That affected how you would conduct yourself in terms of coaching strategically. And unfortunately, uh, she was kind of handicapped from that, and I would have liked to see in her get one more year also. But I'm not as outraged because there, as I was with Spoon, because Spoon, again, there's just a different thing, but it's just a different, you know, uh, echelon of person we're talking about here. Paid dues, was on the New Orleans Pelicans coaching bench for many years, over 6 years. I think it was 6 or 7 years. So that's nowhere comparable. But she definitely got the short end of the stick, Coach Wright, and it was wrong. And essentially, at the end of the day, this is very unfortunate because what does this mean for pro sports in general now? Um, where this clash between sports and marketing meets the integrity of the game, because you're essentially getting a bag just to sit there and babysit while this player goes out and accomplishes what they need to go off into the sunset. And I know I shouldn't be crying boohoo, especially as a person who's small in the game. You don't want to ruffle feathers and offend people because obviously you're talking royalty names here and highly established people. But guess what? It's sport. This is the dialogue, and we need to have these conversations because people being sacrificial lamb at the hands of statistics and numbers and paydays and marketing, and it's like the game has to come first. We keep having these conversations. I keep having this discussion about Nike even. The game has to come first, and everything around it has to feed off of that instead of vice versa. Now, honestly, that's in a perfect world. Business first is sports and entertainment. You have to make money, etc. But this is where the conflict is going to arise in the future, and teams need to do a better job of designing their roster to where it can meet both needs, because I don't think any prospect really developed for Atlanta, and you didn't get any step closer to a championship. So really, what was it about? I think, now that I think about it, forgive me, I think Atlanta did play in the first round. They matched up against the Aces, which was a great show. It was the Aces or Liberty, one of them. It was like a legacy battle between front lines, Charles and, it was either Angel Wilson or Breonna Stewart, I want to say. It was one of those two. My memory's foggy right now. I'm trying to get this out in timely manner, but this is where pro sports is going to start having problems because, having this on your resume, getting terminated is not cool at all. And I understand, boo-hoo, at least they got a bag, what you mad about, but it's like, yes, but there needs to be a better way. I just think that, what was Atlanta? Atlanta just basically put their season on pause to let Charles do what Charles needed to do. But if you're going to do that, then you can't be firing a coach after that kind of season. Because what are you going to do? Put Charles on the bench when she's within reach of getting second all time in points, first all time in you're not going to. Same thing with Reese. If you're going to let her get rebounds for whatever sake, then you got to, if LeBron wants to be all time leading scorer in rebounds and assists, then don't get mad when, Darvin Ham has to coach around that, and have to manipulate certain rosters and keep certain frontline players out of the lineup so LeBron can get those rebounds, so LeBron can get those assists. You notice the passing was different once LeBron got his points. These are the conflict. I'm just putting that out there, and I'd like to see it improve because the quality of the game is compromised when this stuff happens. I'll try to do better next time, Utopians. Good luck to Coach Wright and Atlanta Dream. I hope you really get your priorities straight. Love and Light Global out.